No, no. Mommy. So my meeting a mensa we pie fi chamber ni mu a wakotena ase na ni hyen abesi ama wotu akwa nesa. Chase na me buy na so me beto se Ira Agyapong kroma ono nso saa oye naja ofi chamber ni mu pie ya na wakotena ne hyen mu a okoe
2045. 2045. Okay, they just go kind of grand amount. That boy we end. Can okay. What?
Honorable Kennedy Akompreko Agyapong waba obeye adwuma ewo mrashibedwafie shi minister na wabedu no openia wasesa Ghana education any the new STEM projects ahodo a woye yera osayedutwum nidi ebeka oh my Ghana Yabakose move forever, especially when it comes to education.
Aside that,
Just to do government business.
so what would you say, I mean, after this whole outcome of the election? What would you say about
Ghanaians have spoken. We should listen to them.
Is there any more you're expecting from, I mean, the sitting today and going forward?
I'm not in charge of the agenda. Those who are the business managers would agree on the agenda, and those of us who are members of Parliament would do accordingly.
Are you expecting all your colleagues to be present for business to begin?
It's my expectation that parliamentarians will do their work. Maybe there might be a colleague here who is on the parliamentary business outside the chamber. I cannot be here. And I'm expecting all parliamentarians to do their work.
We say you're Matthew Poku Prempe and on a attraction common. Abusiamo akwa mra Ghana News TV so na mabepie mu ewo Ghana mrahye ankasa ne de abusiame ka say no omo ye renovations ye sie sronko ewo ho ntino eye Grand Arena a ewo Accra International Conference Center ho e na sisia no Ghana mrahye bedwafo no omo tena na me ba ha na de ba ko amahu ne se mrahye bedwafo a eye NDC caucus no dodo na omo ba atade fita no ma hye omo kire so omo di nkonim efi se afia bato a omo ko ye no womo hwe numbers omo puli na na say whether majority or minority or inform ho na ade ba ko a me ba e ma bete ne se Speaker of Parliament Eris said say a year Parliament on 2 occasions ni nyina ne say MPP for GD say omo and majority so na NDC for nso GD say omo na majority but this year no ene dey omo kotena say NDC for ayato aba omo ama yi achim say ne omo kotena minority whether minority or majority see and Ghana for actually MPP for smoothness level amomo hunu baby a omo belonging fi say ye ka say no ade a NDC ewo over 2/3 of Ghana Parliament abusuya menkasa ma mekasa ngwa ha Ghana News Series medin na nasefaren bobo na yenko ne yenko tie yura ABF seni mpanifo ahodo eba ha yura Kennedy Agyapong ene maame Adwoa Safo ena afei maame Ursula wuso pen mahu so ma shatade efita MPP mpanifo eba eye MPs ne de dodo na normal atade mufti a enye fita abusuya me yenko na yenko hwani entie nkomo a ne omtwetwe ni
And the last time I came to victory now, I will be here. And more call minority and majority.
Say me the kind of catcher say. This election we are going a very decisive.
My very good brother.
Okay, say very decisive.
First of all, Ghana is still peaceful. That's one of the most important. That's what very. The Ghanaian people say the NDC force another chance to govern. Let's see how it's going to be.
When we better, more we are home. Because maybe poto.
And we marry poto. And then we okay some minority side.
Oh, now we say me tuning here too deep. Okraman near okra bone. We say don't pay. We say we wo biom. We don't pay. We wo biom. Because Ghanaians overwhelming mandate and yet just presidential since you started fourth republic. Omanpenyi bia nya mandate to say his excellency president mama. Say your quality minus 9 your friend say 9 constituencies. After they have the full figure. President Vice President Mahmoud Bawumia MPP Flabedan. The final percentage 40% crapo, 39%. Go and see. Never in the annals of our country's history. Yes, sir. Because we are Juma Funu. We are Baye Juma Papa. Because number one, we compare record. We compare President Mahama record to Nana Akufo-Addo Bawumia record for 8 years. And Nana Akufo-Addo they did a shambolic job. Here, maybe to macroeconomic indices. President Mahama was sorry on 7th January 2017. Inflation year is here 15%. Nana Akufo-Addo, Dr. Bawumia at a point, almost inflation rate of 54.2%.
They say Ghana for
Miba, CD there, Nana Akufo-Addo can say or the Dr. Bawumia from the Bank of Ghana to stabilize the CD. No, CD no, aya hata. CD no aya hata. Under his watch, CD equal 1 to 17 CDs and over. Under Nana Akufo-Addo Bawumia watch. Okay? Food index. Bisobia uko joma koto tomatoes ana jene ana this. The next time ukwa sura na eko. Over 85% apart from the inflation that is galloping. Debt aka President Mahama office on the 7th of January 2017. The total indebtedness yakanyina from independence to President Mahama 120 billion. Nana Akufo-Addo just September last year equal to 876 billion. Omukwa 760 something billion. So
Ghana for their mamu. They say Ghana for ready any.
Masa, nti na yaka say ni nyina committed to say adantu na omo campaign say hwe wasitrim na to ababa. Because omo ye Ghana sitrim useless to majority of Ghanaians. And me tra haka and yes say MPP wumi winning elections so krono no omo all the time. Krono omo wiem all the time. I'm telling you, she obi ka che say Ashanti region omo to aba oboa. Omo to aba. What they used to do in Ashanti region is say you stuff ballot boxes. You thumb printed ballot boxes in Ashanti region and parade them as votes into the 1.2 million votes when we say and Ashanti region. Krono now upon this time you so vigilant that the ballot boxes could not come out. So this time Omwasa they can never do that again in the history of our country because once you are security they will never come back to power.
Yes, Jame Beba.
Oh, Masa, say who say Adwoa, who that's okay say roof near that to get Nya owu odwom a obetuma na so de fina bio.
Was it?
Se nipa ne wuti say wa wu odwom market. Owu odwom a obesa bisa say de fina announcement ehia bio. Because obiati. You see the MPP because of power the Ghanaian people gave to them. They so abuse the power that Ghanaians will put them at their proper place. If an elder is found of patronizing the play of children, he will carry their drum. So today, it's very out there that the mandate that was given the MPP and that was so grossly abused, today they will be concerned to the opposition for many years. Because Ghanaians had indicated, when Ghanaians were complaining life is hard, They are trampling on their rights. They are seizing their lands. They are polluting our rivers. Our lands are being desecrated. Litany of complaint. Corruption is very high. Nana Akufo-Addo said to hell, he didn't mind Ghanaians. He said they can do whatever they choose. And today, it is coming. That's what I'm saying. If you sell yourself for half penny, they'll buy you for nothing. And today, the evidence is out there that Ghanaians were just waiting for the day. They were waiting for only December 7th to teach the MPP a lesson. And I want you to send this message out clear. If there's any clear thing that this election has revealed to us, it has revealed to us that MPP was actually not winning elections, especially from 2016. They were stealing the mandate of the people through the filling of ballot boxes and bringing them out. We managed to hold them in Ashanti this time. The ballot boxes couldn't come out. So you see, when they're making the cry that 1.2 million or so Ashanti people didn't vote, it's not true. The people in Ashanti region voted. They voted in the numbers they were supposed to vote. But the ballot boxes that they stuffed couldn't come out. That explains why that you see that huge gulf. And so that's why I'm telling you that once we have gotten that secret out, they can never do that thing again to win elections.
I mean, after a lesson learned by the party, by the NDC party, what proverb would you describe? What proverb would you give to, I mean, an advice to the NDC?
No, as for us, we have always been aware that if you don't know death, look at sleep. What Ghanaians have done to the MPP tells us that if you are a government and you come and you are arrogant, you are power drunk, you are corrupt, you are impervious to advice, you are insensitive to the plight of the people. When they are crying and they are telling you that things are hard for us, you tell them they can go to hell. Any government that comes and treats the people with contempt, they will teach you that lesson. Fortunately for us, President Mahama is a very humble person. He's not as haughty and capricious as Nana Akufo-Addo, who thinks that, in fact, at a point he thought he was almost God, saying that he will never hand over power to anybody, as if the power was his personal property. I'm sure you heard that. You heard him saying he won't hand over power to Mahama, as if the power he was holding was his personal property and he can pick and choose who he wanted to hand over to. Today, whom is he handing over to?
After a very long
So
break.
if you say that there's no gravity, jump and let's see whether you suspend. Today, the laws of gravity have brought Nana Akufo-Addo down. You know, when President Mahama came out as president-elect to meet him, you know one of the first things he said? He said, oh, President Mahama is one of my best friends. All of a sudden, the President Mahama he has been vilifying for God knows how long. He suddenly became his best friend. You see how God can humble people? The Nana Akufo-Addo who thought he was God, he's come down to the earth. And now he's now appealing for the friendship of President Mahama. But he will not be deceived. Ghanaians want accountability. Every one of them will account. From Nana Akufo-Addo to Dr. Bawumia to all that, they will account for every person that is missing. That is why President Mahama is launching the oral operation, recover all the loot. All the lootings they've done, from money to land to everything, every single one of them will be recovered. Because we cannot play with accountability. The good people of this country have voted for President Mahama to demand accountability from the MPP. And every single one of them, from their appointees to the president to the vice president to all of their appointees, every single one of them will account. And I'm telling you that will be the hallmark that all those of us in the NDC will make sure that, and I already know President Mahama has that commitment, but we will add the necessary fillip to make sure that is done. Because that is what the good people of this country elected us, and that is what they expected us to do. And so we will not shortchange them for one moment. And President Mahama himself has said it. Anybody who comes with some broad shoulders and he wants to flaunt his authority is not under his government. Because he's going to exhibit a very humble, down-to-earth government that will respect the wishes of Ghanaians. We are not going to be like the MPP who raise their shoulders in that kind of arrogant posture and look down on the people. It's a government that will work for the supreme interest of the people and listen to the people. We are human beings. You can make a mistake. When you are in government and you make a mistake, be humble enough to admit that mistake. Correct it and go further. But don't pretend that you are a saint. You there, nobody can tell you are the depository of all wisdom and knowledge. Nobody knows better than you. And so all the time your shoulders are high. No, that won't happen under President Mahama. To be a government of humility.
Final proverb before we go.
Oh, you know, when the house has collapsed, do you ask whether the roof is still standing? Today the MPP house has collapsed. The roof and everything is down. Today the MPP is like a man who has died in the market. Do you need to announce it now again? It's a household information.
Thank you very much, sir.
This is an emphatic victory. For people coming in now as the minority, but going into the majority. How does it feel? How does everything feel?
We feel good. And, let me say that the issue of who is majority and who is minority has been determined by the people of Ghana. It is not up to us to fight over it in Parliament. It's not up to us. Now it is obvious that the MPP majority has now been reduced to one category. So that's what it is. And go ahead and do the business of the day, business of the people, and ensure that the right thing is done.
So is that why your members have gone to their original seats?
Yeah, I think it's pointless. Pointless at this point to fight over who is majority and who is minority. The people of Ghana have determined who is indeed the majority and who is the minority. Not just with small numbers, but emphatic. The NDC members of Parliament constitute the majority for the 9th Parliament. So I don't think it's time for us to fight over one seat from now till Parliament is dissolved on the 5th or on the 6th of January. Let's make sure we do the right thing.
Leader, finally, what kind of key business will you be supporting the government to deal with? Have you had any agreement so far?
We will not support anything that will not commit the next government. This is a transition. We should allow the next government to make the determination. But anything that will seek to benefit all of us, and all of us agree to, we will support all of us, like bills, lawmaking. But those loan agreements and the likes of leases and all must wait for the next government to make that determination. Must wait. There's a precedent to that. The Honorable Chairman Sabansu did just that in 2016 with the MPP minority then. There's no difference. We're going to do just that. And let's see what will happen from today.
Leader, are you gunning for the finance minister role? Are you gunning for the finance minister? Come on.
Are you gunning for the
lithium agreement? Are you saying that the lithium agreement which is before your house, you call it be frozen?
I think I've made my point. My point is that anything that is going to commit the next administration, we should allow. Thank you very much for congratulating. So my key point is we have expenditure in advance of our populations. We need to do it and others. So let's go in and see what we do. So let's go in.
2045.
Honorable Kennedy Akompreko Agyapong waba obeye adwuma ewo mrashibedwafie abusua ma me slow so akufo na wasi form no na wahwe Mami slow so osi obi that head answer dia na ekoso honest no oni obi ani asem ka bia
ese yesua ahobrase ese anse wo hwe John Mahama ankasa no owo ahobrase owo nipa ho tima enti ye pause wo ye minister wo ye CEO wo akwanya wa ban ne mu a ese wo bre ho ase enya nipa ganafo ho tima ese anse ganafo nte na wonya asa atumi no enti yade ba kwa ese yensua na yentie ganafo no and I believe Adwoa a Edamakuma so for a bind say a bind me minya kwenya say metu omampanyin John Mahama for make I say ye Ministry of Information and Public Engagement. Ministry and just for information but ministry any omanfo no benya nkita hundie at least on a weekly and monthly basis. Because tie for year I koso a bind mo no it took 8 years. 8 years afi watch and as I catashare any kankaina koso. To me, it's a bibia in one month. And you need to carry the people along. Et ma say busumi way nyaya nie the steps we've taken nie timelines are ebe taking na ye de be hu nyama ebe bano. Like when you implement a policy, it will take time for you to see the effect. But in between the time, they say, oh, microphone say, oh, policy way over the next 6 months, you expect to say. And in between the 6 months, though, you need to carry the country along. And the economic reform say, carry the country along. Because I think the extent of the damage to your economy, you need to address the country. My say this is the level of we are. When you put in a new policy, renegotiation with the IMF, what does it mean for the young people of Ghana? I said, Ejuma 4, what does it mean for them? Forex, the situation at the Bank of Ghana, you need to do sector by sector. Ghana for NTS here. When you do that, you can carry the people along.
Number does it put any task on you, burden on you, say what some perform deliver?
Oh, definitely. I mean, the Ghana 4 to me, overwhelming super majority. NDC MPs to microcredit finance there. And here say again, ahombrasie. And here say ebe bre ho ase. Na ya jiri ho eye adwuma ebe so Ghana for any. The majority in Parliament is for us to serve the people of Ghana. Listen to the desires of the Ghanaian people. Nyama won pese yen sisa no na yen sisa ma won. Nyama won pese yen ge Ghana for did was say woman pay e-levy. They say yen free ho. In the first budget, they say yen free ho. Say woman pay bet tax. They say yen free ho. Say woman pay corporate levy. They say yen free ho. Because enunti na woman mama to me. Look, the Ghanaian people don't joke with them. Woman MPP, a very solid majority of 169. Woman say MPP for 5 years juma ye. Then the next one my split parliament 137 say yen hwe say na enu so beko. See, our mama overwhelming majority 188. Munjena mumfanye juma no mai. I say
this is 4 seats or no ankasa onyanjin to mu muma kam position ya clear say legally it was wrong say ombetimi akasa ye parliamentary dey fit that constituency akwa declare a different constituency. My position no because some would definitely go against your members of parliament that have been elected.
No, there's no member of parliament on the NDC side who's been elected. You declare no another constituency. None. I mean,
some says yes under duress.
Why they can't say you're under duress? Nobody has stated. Mami can't say I was physically present at the declaration of Okaikwe Central. Right, Mr. Degeno, our returning officer. Meaning in a court table. Now why because it was getting dark. Yes, saw your lights, man. So I went to my Juma. He stood there and declared his results. Offrey Hono, he went and sat there and did the declaration rates. Said Obi under duress. You watch the videos. Obi the told share to Nikona and Anitiso. I mean, Techiman South card 1 year declaration 4 years. Abra soldiers a kunkrofo. And no ECG to mo. Yeah, demonstration that Haruna Idrisu echo ECC say our problem I am court. Oh, Ablekuma North, a Rabina Oben. Yes, I see on Monday. Yambi electoral officer and returning officer Mr. Opong Okofi Eko die. Tuesday or Sanfo on Wankasa Nika. Esam bae ebe twa adwuma no so to declare Rabina Oben. Obi a owo under duress or to me kofie ekoda esign e chibra say obey declaration. The EC Samuel Tete any woman omo EC a one person be woman share MPP atade a woman ye MPP adwuma no omo njai enye adwuma. So obi what problem man ye clear on court. EC need to me to annul a declaration of a returning officer. Omo need to me no. Thank you very much.
Other constituencies now where
Party adwuma na me party sumafo. Greater Accra. Election where I worked in 30 constituencies across beyond Greater Accra. I worked in the Bono East, Bono region. I worked in Western. I worked in Central. I worked in the Eastern.
Your party did not intimidate or put anybody under duress.
Menu Bema. So Obi Bo Wasuma. Wunya we never beka say ya Bo Wasuma. You na beka say ya Bo Wasuma. Adena Samuel Teteni Jimensa ni boss man sorry. One num panado ma obi a osiniti ye ne ya. The people who did the declaration are not saying they are under duress. So why is Samuel Tete saying that they were under duress? And then the rest in your trouble will be Mumaso.
Honorable, that's it.
I mean, shout,
obey Jumano. Now, complaining, fit Tamamoto and about any
Amamo Bonintia, Mammy Church, Moment Casabe, a Yamamo Bonintia. As son said, Parliament had 2019 and a year approving £96 million sterling loan facility free UK Barclays Bank. I had Bayer Sarquino from Tema Interchange, Ecopim Central University, and 10 lanes, 4 interchanges. Ultima say project no shall say in 2022. After 2019, a year approving facility, no. Yes, shall say now and Ghana Echo IMF. And to be say now BHM, anyone local contractor, First Sky, yeah, Juma giddy because Canada, you call IMF default and IMF freezy BBR. As I say, buying a deal, Amamo Bonnie, one with discanning now. And the IMF says, say, almost £96 million now. And the IMF air chain say, I'm buying for Beba. Now, many are buying for Nasi at the home come to release the money. And that's why John Mahama is leading negotiations now, renegotiations of the IMF program. What GDA said, we will get a release from the IMF to be able to access the rest of the money. That project needs to be completed in 18 months. And I believe, say, in the next 18 months, John Mahama, I
didn't hear that.
One today.
Was it 18 months?
At the wax, Chairman, and I see you have wax in your ears. We wore earphones for washroom. But near woman said the project lifespan contract now on the Parliament for loan, no, 18 months contract. So I'm sure that once the IMF clears it for us to proceed within 18 months, they should complete because that's the tenure of the project.
Good.
What I say?
Well, first of all, we thank God for how far He has brought Ghana, and we also thank Ghanaians and all the actors, the stakeholders, in ensuring that indeed democracy continues to deepen and, for that matter, thrive in this country. Yes, of course, we are coming to Parliament with the NDCs having almost about 2/3 majority. And it's not everybody that is new. But again, the professor was once and +1 before he or she became a professor. So, yes, there are quite some new ones who are coming to Parliament on the side of, now you can say, minority. But I believe that those of us who are out or outgoing will be there to lend a helping hand to them. And don't forget, we used to have the famous 67 many years ago when the president then was an MP. So it's about a very good parliamentary group, not necessarily making in the plenary, their voices may not be heard, but it's about putting government on its toes to make sure that indeed they go by what they have said, the promises that they've made, and all the policies that they are likely to, for that matter, introduce. So it's not an all dead end of the road, but rather I think this is a fine opportunity for our MPs to try and do their best in Parliament.
City baby.
And then the Amadia to Musam Kwatana.
Oh, now say Ghana fire mu verdict, your judgment. Now so mama ye city baby. I don't think I besu. Subium, near the first judges, you know, Ghanaians, you know, my judge. I make sure say JM Bako. City baby.
My share.
NDC
Abra na yam kwa batu mu na mo de mo gidi se mo ye majority. Ene abatu nsu so nti na de Amadia to na afensu so ye vote no mo aban ene be boa mo nti na mo kwakotana minority for one.
Oh, na say akola de usu say ye nto bofruit mbra. Na say bofruit wi mu efe de wehu say ye de aba. E wo bag ni mu aye be yi ama nti esu ni de u be ja isu ansa. Kopepisi e be yi bofruit nti ye ja isu. Say obi jaji yo said that you Ghanaians aye omo final verdict. Omo say NDC back o city baby.
My city finally. Mobey manya clear majority. Na microphones so kan manya majority. E bia na Ghana for council kan na mankuti o.
Oh, ye bebre ye ho ase. In fact, we be humble, very very humble so far. Obia bebre ni ego. Na obia odi ego be shase ya ye betu agu ne so achi na weti se ayi abo no te sɛ yi yɛm tolerate obia sɛ Ghana for gidi a wɔanya wɔ yɛ mu yi sɛ obi ɛba bɛyɛ ahantan akasa kɛseɛ obi bɛyɛ saa deɛ no pɛ yɛ bɛ calling it to order Ghana for sɛ yɛn som wɔn na wɔanya gidi bi wɔ yɛ mu na wɔn ama yɛ seat bebree nti yɛbɛyɛ
by the grace of God we were able to identify some of them and stop them from entering the constituency. We used the law. I mean, we actually reported them to the police, and some of them had to come back to Accra and all that. But of course, some of them also were able to enter the constituency and then did what they wanted to do. But at the end of the day, the good people of Davos spoke, and they spoke in clear language. I mean, you can bring all the monies in the world into the constituency, but they know what they want.
Now, briefly,
we expect to do so in an atmosphere of mutual respect, and then see to the outstanding things to be done, including managing the House with Mr. Speaker. So we've had some very positive engagement, and we are Democrats, we are politicians, we understand. I'm sure the heated atmosphere you saw prior to the elections will not be seen today. I mean, now, as they will say, Obiang on the smoothest level. You know?
So what are some of the government business that we expect?
Well, I would read them on the House floor.
Honorable, the sentiment among everybody is, you said you were not going to the minority side because not spiritually. Now that you are going to the other side, if you are made a minority, that will sit on the other side.
Understand what I say in context. I remain the leader of government business and majority leader till the 6th of January 2025. I said that it was inappropriate for me to go and sit on the minority bench when I was on a minority leader. If on the 7th of January I am the minority leader, I will sit on the minority bench and keep their feet to the fire. I mean, life continues. Listen. In 1997, MPP came into the parliament of the second parliament, with 61 seats. NDC almost had a 2/3. They had over 130 seats. We had just 61, with other small parties joining us, making 67. But the 97 group was very formidable. And in 2000, we managed to overtake them in numbers. In 2004, again, we led the House in the 3rd Parliament. In the 4th Parliament, they took over. In the 5th Parliament, they still control the House. In the 6th Parliament, we had a commanding majority of 169, which was very unprecedented, with over 1 million votes for the presidential candidate Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. In 2020 election, again we had a split parliament, where people say hung parliament, with just a single majority which I lead. Then we had over 500,000 votes for our presidential candidate, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. Now come 2024, where they have over 170 seats. C'est la vie. That is life. That is democracy. All right? We congratulate them. The people of Ghana have heard them. They've given them the mandate. Our job in opposition is to do what we're supposed to do. Keep their feet to the fire. So this is not something that has to be celebrated in perpetuity. They would have to be magnanimous in victory as we see the next 4 years. We are very positive that come 2028, Ghanaians will return us into office. We are going to take stock, look at where we got it wrong, correct our mistakes, come together as a team, as a formidable opposition, as a formidable minority, not to be disruptive, no violence, no chaos, but to act within the confines of the law, argue on issues, and distinguish ourselves for the people of Ghana to know that this is MPP. We believe in democracy and we accept the result. Safe to say that some outstanding areas that our friends are doing mischief, acting in bad faith, we call on them to appreciate what it entails to engage in this process and allow the EC to do its work. We have 9 more seats that are yet to be declared, and we are very optimistic that if collation is done peacefully in a serene environment, those seats are ours. We have collated our results, and we know we have won them. And please, let me finish. And we know that what our flag bearer did is what has given this country the peace it needs. For the first time in the history of Ghana's democracy, Dr. Bawumia conceded through internal collation, even before Electoral Commission came out publicly to declare. This has never happened in our history. Thank you very much indeed.
Menu makwekwe asempa kania. Semenam na meti asempa na mamo amania na mano kekame. Anyemia wati ANS Trading Agency Limited nka. Sa woka se door to door for no de ani wetwa. Esanse obi ene wa wo se won wo sa door to door business nim. Wo nneoma wo UK a wo de ko Ghana. Ana se Germany a wo de ko Ghana. 3 to 5 weeks e bekwa kodu nipa ne puno anu se try. Na de mo demonstration ko wo se adwuma de ewe mu ne se wo ho bo no. E da fom se boko. ANS Trading Agency Limited. Ewo air freight special service. Ano nneoma ne ye de befa plane. Entintempa na akwa kodu. Obetima fa sa pra we ya so de nneoma free Ghana akwa UK ana Germany. FAGG dem which na also agina ye na men drop bomb. ANS Trading Agency Limited pe and a 40 footer any 20 footer container. Ya fe UK ediko Ghana ana Germany ediko Ghana. Omo manuoma ye mere import o export o dem there for you. Omo Ghana na money 0249 170 423. UK has over free 0790 802 7527. Germany 09173 771 2733. Ubenya ANS Trading Agency Limited. Our West Croydon ANS Trading Agency Limited. Quantum Brantam. Wana beboya baso. Maybe next time you feel afu from the bebro.
Let's say the more about abbyexpress.com. abbyexpress.com the media yeah I got a phone near Benina, near Papua, near the other abbyexpress.com. And then I will be free Ghana and Africa and Papua na Saturday. Can tell me now open out the other down who are party Asiana. Maybe I will be abbyexpress.com. Yeah, they are Papua near Manu, yeah, they blow abbyexpress.com. Yeah, dear, I mean, and then I will share who are Europe abroad today and now America. Australia no one, that's Asia now. Maybe I will be in Slokra. Everyone is on abbyexpress.com. Now the Warrior was Sabeka. abbyexpress.com. Where they are the abbyexpress.com. Where they are papa. abbyexpress.com. Yeah, the Ghana and 12 abroad.